This is the new Honor 600. I know it looks a little too familiar, but appearance is just one piece of the puzzle. I say puzzle cause their naming convention still doesn't make sense to me. Like, can't you just say Honor 6 or something? Anyways, let's talk about this phone already. I'm your host Earl, roll that intro. At first glance, I'm not gonna lie, someone could easily mistake this for an iPhone 17 Pro, especially with that colorway. Our unit is in orange, obviously with color match design elements all around, including the matte metal frame, the camera rings, and even the buttons right here. The back panel also comes in a matte finish, but it kind of feels plasticky in the hand. I do like that it's not a fingerprint magnet at least. Of course, we cannot ignore the camera plateau that houses its two camera rears. It protrudes quite a bit and has a glossy finish, which in turn attracts smudges. It's pretty lightweight and compact, weighing around 190 grams and rocking a screen that measures 6.57 inches diagonally. And I don't know if you'll notice, but the rounded corners are slightly more pronounced, making it more comfortable to hold. One big improvement here in terms of build quality is having a stronger IP rating. For context, the Honor 400 only had IP66. Now, the Honor 600 is rated IP68 and 69K, which means it's well protected for ingress of dust and water submersion. The K here means that the phone can also withstand high temperature water jet. On top of that, it also has an SGS 5-star drop and crush resistance, which isn't a surprise since pretty much every Honor phone nowadays has this certification. That said, it's still a good idea not to expose your phone to the elements nor try to test out how tough it really is. You have been warned. For inputs and outputs, found on the right side are the power button, volume rocker, and a dedicated AI button. There's nothing on the left, while the top has a loudspeaker along with a couple of mics, and at the bottom there's the SIM tray slot, USB-C port, another mic, and the second loudspeaker. Flip over to the front, its 6.57-inch screen uses a flat AMOLED panel with a full HD plus resolution and 120Hz refresh rate. And this is a big claim from Honor, but this guy is said to have up to 8,000 nits of peak brightness. I'm not even kidding. However, no matter how big that number is, that's just peak brightness and it's not really useful for daily use. What we should be looking for is the typical brightness, but Honor hasn't mentioned anything about it. In my experience though, the phone gets bright enough to actually remain visible under direct sunlight, so that's reassuring. Now, when it comes to visuals, I would say it's superb. Everything looks great, the bezels here are insanely thin, and they're uniform all around, which is always a plus. I also like this feature called motion sickness relief that I think other brands should also implement on their phones. This feature is a blessing for someone like me who gets dizzy quickly in a moving vehicle. It works simply by adding some little dots or even shapes on the screen that move depending on the vehicle's movement. Not to mention, you can even set it to automatically enable every time the phone senses that you are in transit or driving. Going back to the multimedia experience, I'm afraid the audio quality is a bit of a downside. Don't get me wrong. The soundstage is decent for the most part, with clear highs and respectable mids, but lacking bass. However, once you start cranking up the volume, it gets too distorted, especially at max 200% volume. You can even hear a lot of harsh S sounds. It's kind of annoying. That said, it won't be as immersive when watching movies, but it's decent enough for casual listening to music. As for biometric security, it features an under-display fingerprint optical sensor along with face unlock. Both methods unlock the phone reliably and quickly, but as always, I'd suggest using the fingerprint sensor as it's more secure. One thing that Honor is known for is its focus on photography. And for a mid-range series phone, that impression seems to hold true, but with a caveat. The Honor 600 boasts a 200-megapixel main sensor with OIS alongside a 12-megapixel ultra-wide camera. They are the exact same specs from last year's Honor 400, and what's worse is still no telephoto camera here. Setting those aside, the phone actually takes impressive shots with sharp picture clarity, accurate colors, and a pretty high level of dynamic range. Portraits look nice with natural-looking bokeh and a subject background separation that's not harsh for something like hair. The collaboration with Studio Harcourt also remains here with different studio-level filters that actually look like a charm. Despite the low megapixel count, ultra-wide shots are surprisingly good with plenty of detail, and the colors are generally consistent as with the main sensor. What's a bit of an ick for me is that the phone is heavy on AI processing. Yes, that's mostly helpful since it can enhance detail for photo shot at 4x zoom or whatnot, but I really don't need it to be enabled all the time. Selfies, for example, the image output generally has nice skin texture and accurate skin color. However, when shooting in low light, the output would look rather different, unrealistic even, from what you saw on the screen while taking the shot. As for video, the phone can shoot up to 4K at 30 frames per second, and the quality here is also good. The footage is well stabilized, with the main camera able to quickly focus on subjects and to output consistent colors across all zoom levels. Switching to ultra-wide, however, it offers far less detailed shots and leans more toward warmer tones, making it look inconsistent from the main shooter.
Just like on the rear, the Honor 600 can shoot 4K at 30 FPS using its front camera. It doesn't have an OIS support per se, but it looks pretty stable looking at the screen. So what do you guys think? Let us know in the comments below.
Under the hood, the Honor 600 is equipped with a Snapdragon 7 Gen 4. Our unit comes with 80GB of RAM and 256GB of internal storage. Looking at our synthetic benchmarks, the phone garnered favorable results. In Antutu version 11, the Honor 600 surpassed 1 million points, and in 3D Mark Wildlife, which is a GPU-intensive benchmark, it had an average frame rate of 43 FPS, which is not bad. It's not all about the number though. It's more about the experience, and so far I haven't encountered any stutters in terms of everyday use. Gaming is not its strongest suit, but technically it can still game reliably. Playing titles like MLBB and Call of Duty, the phone was able to run these games at up to 90 FPS. Yep, no ultra frame rate for MLBB, and no, it can go past 120 FPS on Call of Duty Mobile even if settings are toggled to low graphics and ultra frame rate. Meanwhile, for titles like Wuthering Waves with all toggles to high, the game was barely playable. Average frame rate hovers around 30 to 40 FPS, and there are lots of frame drops with maxed out settings. Interestingly, even if setting it to ultra performance, the average frame rate still hovers around 40 FPS. To be fair, this phone is not designed for gaming, so set your expectations here. Thermal management is serviceable. It heated up rather quickly when playing Wuthering Waves at maxed out graphics, and when I adjusted it to low graphics, the hit still lingered for some reason. Still, it didn't cause any thermal throttling, and it didn't get to a point where the phone was uncomfortably hot. Now, onto the software side. The Honor 600 ships with Magic OS 10 based on Android 16. Honor has surely come a long way with its own Android skin. I know most of its UI design took inspiration from iOS, but I personally don't mind as long as they're implemented beautifully across the OS. I definitely like the glass blur aesthetics throughout the system, and there are lots more customization options available now. That includes a variety of lock screen styles, updated app icons, and a full screen always on display. Remember the dedicated AI button? Well, as the name suggests, it's used for accessing a number of AI features such as AI Photos Agent and the AI Screen Suggestions, among others. By default, a long press triggers AI screen suggestions, and depending on what's on screen, it generally saves screenshots through AI memories. The AI button also acts like a shutter button and can launch the camera with a double press by default. Moving on, I still have some of my nitpicks like less fluid animations, text inconsistencies, and a dynamic island ripoff called the Magic Capsule that isn't so featured-packed. Bloatware is also present with apps folders for recommendations and some pre-installed ones like Lazada and TikTok. Despite all that, I think you still get more pros than cons with Magic OS X. Not to mention, Honor is said to provide up to 6 years of major OS upgrades and security patches. So that's already a big win, having the assurance that this phone will serve you well in the long run. Battery life is probably my most favorite thing about the Honor 400. It packs a whopping 7,000 mAh capacity and this thing lasts for days. In our proprietary video loop test, the phone achieved 41 hours and 28 minutes of uptime, and in PC Mark Work 3.0 test, it lasted 18 hours and 33 minutes. I mostly use the phone to watch content on YouTube, and it barely drained the battery during my usage. When it does run low on battery, the included 80 watts power brick can refill its juices from 0 to 100% in about 1.5 hours. No bypass charging here though, but it has 27 watts of reverse wired charging that may come in clutch to charge your other phones or accessories. Connectivity-wise, it covers all the essentials, including Wi-Fi 6, Bluetooth 5.4, NFC, an IR blaster which is located below the LED flash, and dual nano SIMs with eSIM support and 5G connectivity. So after diving into our experience with the Honor 600, here comes our verdict. On the surface, the Honor 600 builds on the best qualities of its predecessors, but it left us wanting more. I think Honor is trying to replicate that release pattern of introducing an all-new model in 2 years and an iterative improvement in between. The Honor 600 is the latter. You see, everything else is a really good upgrade like the bigger battery, a stronger build, slicker design, and a more polished software experience. They almost knew what they were doing until they skipped on upgrading the more crucial part. The cameras, carryovers. The performance, largely the same. That's not to say they've made bad choices, it's just that they certainly could have done better. I mean, the 2024 Honor 200 had a telephoto camera. Why did they even remove it in the first place? Besides, this might just be a whole marketing strategy before our eyes and we don't even know it. In its own right, the Honor 600 gives off a strong competition in the upper mid-range market as it always has been. Sadly, as of making this video, we don't have the pricing info just yet for the Honor 600 series. Considering that everything is going up in price lately, it's getting harder and harder to justify which one's good or not. If the price is right, then the Honor 600 is one interesting option out there, especially if you pay attention to camera performance, long battery life, and a good-looking phone. But what do you think of the Honor 600? Will you get this anytime soon? We'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. If you find this video helpful or informative, drop a like, subscribe to our channel, and follow us on our socials for more tech news and reviews. Again, this is Earl, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!